I want to make sure that whether you travel all the time or this is the first trip that you're going on, you have some tools to help you get the most out of your budget. Hi, my name is Kat, and I'm here to help you make travel easier. So today we're talking about maximizing your budget. As somebody who has been in the depths of bad credit in the past, it is a wonderful feeling to go on a trip and know that I have paid for it when I get home, rather than my used to be cringe of looking at my credit card bill. So I want to tell you the things that I have learned, sometimes painfully, but things that have helped me to be able to budget more effectively for my trips. One of the best ways to keep your costs down is to think about fixed costs versus variable costs. Now, fixed costs are things like flights and hotels. I tend to look for flight prices in advance. If you are traveling in the United States and looking for flights, I recommend that you look about 2 months in advance. If you are traveling internationally, a good timing would be about 6 months in advance. Sometimes you can find last-minute deals, this is true, but I would not plan my travel and plan my budget around hope. You really want to be planning for those kinds of things as early as possible. I typically look for flights within the US about 4 to 5 months before I'm gonna go, and Lord knows, 6 months or more for international trips. You can also go to websites that will help you flag the flights that you are looking for in case the cost will go down. One that I really like to use is Google Flights. It's easy. It pulls from a number of different websites to get the prices for the routes that you want to travel on. If you set a fare alert using Google Flights, that can be very helpful and let you know when costs are going down. It also gives you information on the amount, if it's a lower price, if it's the average cost of the flight, or if it's a rather expensive time to be buying the flight. Accommodation. I like hotels. Whatever works for you, I think, is great if you're considering an Airbnb or a homestay. But I think the key thing is the earlier you decide where you're going to stay, the better it is for you, because you can know, okay, this is how much it's going to cost me per night. So I like to book hotels in advance. And if I can, I also like to pay in advance. My recommendation is with sites like hotels.com or bookings.com, you can reserve a hotel and you can choose if you want to be able to get a refund up until the day before you are going to arrive at your hotel. Some of these rules can be different depending on the hotel and the city, state, or country that the hotel is located in, but just be mindful of things like refunds or non-refundable hotel stays. I try to avoid those whenever possible, but sometimes you find a hotel that you love for a price that you really can't beat, so you may want to choose that. But just know, if your flight plans change or any sort of delays happen to your trip, then you are still responsible for those fees. Excursions and activities. You're traveling somewhere new and different, or you're going back to a place you haven't been in a long time. You got ideas about what you want to see and what you want to do. Look at the websites in advance. Find out if you need to make reservations in order to go on the day of your choice. Take a look as early as possible so that you know that the things you want to do are going to be available. Maybe the day that you want to go to the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City, the Sistine Chapel is in fact closed. It's really important to take a look at different websites and also check out different bloggers, other YouTubers to find out if it's worth it to go where you're thinking of going. This helps you to know if the money you're thinking about spending is best placed in that area. It's good to keep your schedule a bit flexible. You don't want to have everything jam-packed so tight. So as important as it is to budget your money, you also need to think about budgeting your time. Give yourself some time to allow for discovery. You might find out about a different event or an opportunity to do something that you didn't even know about until you got where you were going. Keep in mind that by being flexible and being spontaneous, you could actually save yourself money. Sometimes if you book your schedule too tightly, you may have paid for something that everyone else liked, but isn't the best fit for you. So leaving a bit of room for resting can be really helpful. Research free and low-cost activities. There are so many museums. There are so many tourist attractions that cost nothing. Definitely research this before you go. There are so many resources available to you, so don't just arrive and hope that you're going to find out what's free. Even just Googling free things to do in XYZ can be very helpful. Meals and snacks. Thinking about how much it's going to cost per day to eat is important. And also thinking about how long it's going to take you to get somewhere and if you're going to need to eat in between, very important. So when you think about meals, you should definitely look into how much the average breakfast, lunch, and dinner costs where you're going. If there's a specific restaurant or a certain kind of food you'd like to try, look into how much that would cost in your local currency, as well as the currency where you're traveling. So that way you can understand if you're going to be able to buy it and eat it. I like to look for hotels that have microwaves and refrigerators or even a kitchenette, so that way I can reheat food or make small meals in my room. I don't want to be cooking when I'm on vacation, so I'm not looking for a whole kitchen experience. If that happens, sometimes it's nice, but I really just want a place where I can heat up leftovers or keep cold drinks and things. So it can be very useful if you look in advance. Also to see if the hotel includes breakfast or includes any sort of additional meals or snacks. And you may also want to store snacks like fruit and other things, fruits, nuts, candy, I don't know. But you may want to store snacks in a refrigerator as well. So it's very nice, if that's possible, to get rooms that have this additional service for you. Sometimes you have a really long day and there's nowhere to stop to have a full meal. Having a couple of snacks, whether it's granola bars, a piece of chocolate, a piece of fruit, these can be very useful and can keep you from being hangry with everybody, and it might help a friend or someone that you don't know from being hangry with you. Use public transportation. I'm confident there is a video out there that will explain to you how to use it. Try the public transportation. Sometimes public transportation is easier than taking a private taxi or an Uber or a rideshare service. Definitely research it so that you know if you feel comfortable with it. There might be a lot of traffic where you're going. So look into public transportation, look into the cost, safety, and make sure that you understand if it's something that you'd be willing to try. Deals and discounts. Make sure you take a look and see if there are discounts because you are a senior citizen, you are a student, you are a veteran. There are so many opportunities for discounts and deals, so take a look before you travel. You just never know how much money you could save. Travel with a group. It can be really helpful to go with other people. Now, I know some of you are like, I just don't travel with other people. For many years, I traveled solo, and that was it. And I'm so glad that I did. It helped me become more confident. It can be really useful, though, if you got a lot of bags and you just need to run to the bathroom, to have somebody watching your stuff. It is cheaper to split the bill between 2, 3, and 4 people than it is to deal with all these bills on your own. Now, this is just an overview of the many different ways to save money and to budget for your trip. If you have additional questions or comments, please leave those in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, and check out my other videos on TSA, budgeting, and other ways to have stress-free travel.